This is a recipe I've been really looking forward to showing you. This is my Italian wrap pie. It is so delicious and it's a lot of fun to put together. What I'll be doing is making a pie out of a wrap. So this is going to be the pastry. What's so great about it is it's super soft, so we can make the perfect parcel without it breaking up. So it's going to hold all that delicious bolognese and mozzarella in the center. All right, let's get started on our bolognese. A very classic bolognese. Nice warm pan, large pan, good glug of extra virgin olive oil, about 1 to 2 tablespoons, and I'll start by softening our onions and garlic. Everyone's got their own recipe for bolognese, so you can make it how you like, but for me, I think the most crucial thing you can do is cook off your onions and garlic for a good 3 to 4 minutes, even longer, 5 minutes. By caramelizing them, softening them, they're going to be sweet, which is going to give your bolognese an extra depth of flavour. So now that these are starting to soften, I can add my garlic, a good amount of garlic. It needs 3 big fat cloves of garlic. Always add the garlic second to the onions because you don't want them to burn. And then a good pinch of salt at this stage. This will also control the heat. Some of the moisture is going to come out of the onions so they stay nice and soft and don't burn. Now we can start adding some extra flavours. Traditionally, you would just put the garlic and the onions, but I like a little bit of heat, so some chili flakes and some dried oregano. I love dried oregano because it has a really strong flavour. So you only need about half a teaspoon to make a difference in this. Now, while this is softening for a little longer, we can start working on our wraps. Now, using a cookie cutter, or you can just use the top of a mug, I'm going to trace around the cookie cutter just to cut out 4 10-centimetre circles. Now this is going to help the structure of the pie to ensure that all our delicious filling stays in the centre. So we want 4 of these circles. There's 1. Now let's get back to our onions. They've softened, they've slightly caramelised. So now I like to add my meat. I'm just using good old classic beef mince. And we'll just crumble it up into the onions. At this stage, I'm going to turn the heat up. We want it to completely change colour, and then I'll add some tomato paste, and then we can add our passata. Now that the tomato paste has cooked off, we can add the rest of the tomatoes. 2 cans of crushed tomatoes I'll add straight into there. And just to cut back that acidity, we need to add a little bit of salt and some cracked pepper. And I love the addition of some fresh basil. Just a few stalks, you don't need to take them off. We pop them in, and that's going to flavour our sauce. Now the lid can go on, and this is going to cook for about half an hour. The longer the better when it comes to bolognese, just on a really nice low heat, and when it becomes thick and rich, it's ready. Now 5 minutes before this bolognese was cooked, I added 2 large handfuls of shredded silver beet. And you can see it absorbs some of the liquid from the bolognese. I don't want this bolognese to be too wet because it's a pie filling. So this is the consistency that we're looking for. So let's start making these delicious pies. I'll start with 1 wrap. And then I like cheese to be on the top and the bottom of this pie. So a little bit of Parmesan. And a little bit of buffalo mozzarella. You can use whatever mozzarella you like. You can even shred it if you like. So you can imagine when I start warming these up, this cheese is going to be really oozy and stringy. I love this. And now for our bolognese, we'll get a generous spoonful, about a tennis ball size of bolognese in the centre of this wrap. These are quite large wraps, so you need a good amount of the meat sauce. And then you can just leave it as is, or you can add many different ingredients to the centre of this. I like to keep it pretty simple so we can really show off the sauce, but I do love a little bit of fresh basil on the top. And then more cheese, of course. So a little bit of Parmesan and then some more of this mozzarella, breaking it up. Now for that extra structure that we cut out earlier from another wrap, I'll place that on top, squish it down a little bit, and now we can wrap our pie. So you can see how flexible, you don't have to be too pedantic about it, just folding in the sides, just like that. See how easy it is to do because they're so soft? And there's our very cool little pie ready to go. Now what I'll do is just drizzle over a small amount of olive oil on the top, and then using a brush, we'll just brush it over because I don't want too much oil. I just want it to go super golden brown. Now I'll cook this pie for about a minute on the seam side. While that's happening, I'm going to make a really quick salad to garnish this pie. So some chopped tomatoes we'll place into a bowl, Spanish onion, and then a few more little basil leaves. Pop that in there. And I'll dress this with some balsamic vinegar and some really nice, good quality extra virgin olive oil. Drizzle that over the top. Pinch of salt because tomato loves a bit of salt. And then we'll give that a stir. That's our salad done. Let's have a look at this pie, see how it's going. Carefully flip it. Ah, look at that. See how that's stuck together and it looks fantastic. All right, I'll give that one more minute and then we're ready to plate up. Let's take this pie out of the pan, piping hot, and then I like to serve it on the flat side. We'll just top that with our little tomato and basil salad. I want you to see inside that delicious bolognese and that cheesiness. So I'll cut straight down the center. See how it's a little bit crispy? And then have a look at that. Oh yes, that gooey cheese on both sides and that rich bolognese. Oh yeah, they're good.